Welcome everybody. Again, can we believe it? It's March already. Welcome to Business Before Hours. We've had a couple of late apologies. I think it must be one of those sleepy mornings, so feel free to spread out if you're more comfortable in doing so. Before we kick off, I'd just like to take a moment for us all to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we're meeting on this morning, the Wiradjuri people, and pay our genuine respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Special welcome to our staff this morning. We've got Rachel, who is the brains behind pulling the logistical nightmares of streaming, and hello to everybody watching online, managing all the registrations, planning the content. Rachel is our events guru. We've got Gabby with us up the back. Gabby is responsible for all of our communications. Anything outbound and incoming goes through Gabby. As you can imagine, there's a lot of information that she has to process there, so we're very grateful for her input to the business. And Lisa has racked up 5 weeks with us already in the business development manager role. Lisa is responsible for all sorts of cool ideas, projects, initiatives, membership engagement, sponsorship, pretty much everything. So I can maybe just have another holiday, Lisa, thank you. Board members this morning, we've got Barry Young with us, we've got Alex Berry, we've got Celeste Peirce as well. Online, I believe we've got Beck O'Brien. Hi, Beck.
And Kate.
And Kate as well. Hi, Kate. Kate, I've got your name tag here.
Thanks,
I'd also like to extend a special welcome to Councillor Alice Glacken for always attending our events and being our conduit to council. Any members that might have a concern or a question or a query of some sort regarding council, we encourage you to have a chat with Alice. Alice is our conduit to council and she's a wealth of information
but wait, there's more. And not even six free steak knives. Business After Hours a couple of weeks ago was at Hilltop, 2 weeks ago, was at Hilltop, and it was co-sponsored by Hilltop and Drummond Real Estate. Drummond gave out some flyers, and the flyers are that if you present this sales or this voucher to the sales team, they'll donate $500 to Hilltop if they successfully sell your or settle your property this year. So hands up who was not at the Hilltop. Thank you very much. If you can stick it on your fridge, you can give it to someone you know who is going to sell property you think or may have a chance of. Heard you were out on the radio yesterday. So if anyone thinks they may know someone, you potentially give $500. You take two, you'll know two people. Potentially giving $500 to Hilltop. So if anyone else wants one, fantastic. Any more? Thank you very much. And Carrie's going to tell you all about Lavington and Business After Hours for the next opportunity.
but in order, now that we've got the teaser for that, I'm going to keep you in suspense until the very end of the morning's event.
Stay tuned.
But yes, that is happening. I'd also like to welcome any new members and anyone new to Business Before Hours this morning. If there is anybody here today and it's your first Business Before Hours and you feel comfortable in putting your hand up to say you'd like to introduce yourself to everybody, feel free to put your hand up now. If not, that's fine. Lisa's putting your hand up to someone. There you go, volunteer hand. Simone, welcome.
That's for me. Hello everybody, I'm Celeste. I actually moved out to Albury back in January to study a business lecture and be a bit of a hub for my children who are now spreading out around the country. And my new business is actually part of a national franchise, been around for nearly 20 years, and we're going to be looking at doing some really excellent quality relationship focused in-home care for older Australians, which is very, very timely in the Royal Commission. So Carrick and Lisa and Gabby and Rachel have been amazing in supporting me with the COVID trials I've had with getting my office ready. I do look forward to meeting everybody again and launching finally at some point.
Another member of the family down the end there, so welcome, and you kind of, yes, yes. Anybody else feel like introducing themselves? No? Great. Yes?
Welcome again to our sleep with the children. This doesn't make sense. I'm Michael Cochran. I'm the CEO and founder of Umbrella Health. Been in Albury 5 years now. Been back in April. Our business is national. It'll be Albury based also on the 12th of April. So new clinic opens in the Hamilton development we'll talk about. So I thought it was high time I got part of the local business community of the Melbourne business community. So thank you for having me.
Welcome, Michael. Yes, and another one.
I'm not new to change it.
No, hey, technically you are.
Hi everyone, my name's Emma from Fairmama. It's not my first time at the business before and after hours. You might recognise my face. I used to work as a sales rep for Prime 7, but this is the first time that I've joined in the capacity of my own business. So late 2019, just before the bushfires and the pandemic, I decided it was a good time to jump into business full time. So me and my partner run Fairmama. We're a professional pet sitting service in the Albury-Wodonga area. We offer things like dog walking, home visits, pet taxi, boarding, just supporting pet parents with their pet needs. So if you've got a dog or a cat, or you just like pictures of dogs and cats, we're on social media. Feel free to follow along or come and grab a cat.
It's really awesome to hear that a pet project can turn into a business. No, well done on following your passions, Emma. That's really cool to see that it's working out for you, and we wish you all the best. And thank you for sticking with us here at Chamber.
Happy to be here.
We can't do anything without our amazing sponsors, so we need to acknowledge all the support that we get through them. Not only the financial support, but the creativeness, and you know, the two-way street of projects and initiatives that we get to work on together. On top of that, the values that we all share as well. It's really important to us that we partner with businesses who support our movement, but also that we can support their movements as well. So there's a lot of magic that happens behind the scenes that you guys don't actually see, but we're extremely grateful for all of their support. Coming off the back of a very challenging year last year for everybody in business, it's just incredible to look at the support that we can actually garner from our local community here. So thank you to all of our sponsors for all of their ongoing support, and we look forward to you guys all learning more about them through 2021. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Celeste Peirce to the speaking rug. Celeste is going to grace us with her presence and talk about conquering 3 frustrations in business, which I'm sure we're all very keen to hear. So Celeste, come on up.
That's great.
See what I mean?
It should work out.
It should work out. So wait. Thanks, Karen. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see everyone here today. I'd just like to first take a moment to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, and I'd also like to pay my respects to our elders, both past, present and emerging. So I'm Celeste, and you may have seen my face around. I'm on the board here at Albury Business Connect in the role of the Treasurer. I'm also a business growth strategist with Business Edge Accountants with Clayton, just down the road on Hume Street. I also am in quite a few different little networks as well, and I'm obviously a huge advocate of the Business Chamber because I'm all about community, and I also have a passion for businesses. So these 2 passions with the Chamber and with what I do in working with clients, coaching them in our different programs that we have, whether it's one-on-one or in our group coaching settings. Today I wanted to talk about the 3 frustrations. From working with clients, I see that there are many different frustrations that business owners experience or may experience. And today I just wanted to bring out 3 and just share with you some strategies around how you can overcome these different frustrations, or just some different tools that you can also use.
Might have to use a keyboard.
Might have to, that's okay. So first frustration I wanted to cover off on is looking at when a business owner might be there and just thinking, like, what's my next step? What do I do here? You might be at a crossroads where you've got to make a really big decision of do I or don't I?
It could be that you're in that spin cycle of your business and not really knowing how to get out of that spin cycle so that you can continue to progress forward. So it's really important that you can recognise that. But the way to overcome that is by gaining some clarity on where you are in business at that point A, and then being able to work out how you can get out of that spin cycle to working out where it is that you want to be. And that's gaining that clarity. A tool that we utilise in order to get that with clients is developing that business plan with them. It's about that journey of developing and understanding what their goals are, what their vision is for themselves in their personal lives, and of course the vision for their business, because the business is the vehicle in order for them to achieve those personal goals in their lives. So having that business plan and having that focal document for them to work with throughout the cycle of business really can gain focus for you in achieving that. And hopefully the idea is that if you understand where you want to be and where you're heading, you know what to say yes to and what you can say not right now, this is not right for me as a business owner. So it's about streamlining that, that trajectory you're heading on towards to get to that point B. So if you don't utilise a business plan, I highly recommend that you sit down with someone that has used them, engage some help from somewhere like us, so that you can work through in understanding and unpacking and getting clarity for yourself and your business as to where you're heading. The next frustration is when you might be checking your bank account and asking yourself, where's all that cash gone? It could be you've had a really big month or a really big week and you're just not quite sure where all that cash has gone. It's already gone out through those accounts that you've already had to pay. I know for myself that my husband quite often asks me that question when he's standing in the line at Dan Murphy's at the checkout when the car's declining, because I'm a bit of a notorious saver. So, but for yourself in business, it's really serious that you have an understanding of your cash and how it flows in and out of your business. Because every business has a business cycle that you move through, and understanding that business cycle and being able to prepare for it is really important. We can do that by the dreaded budget, which I know that not many of us enjoy doing, but it's really an important part of understanding the numbers within your business. To then developing that cash flow forecast that goes alongside of understanding the business cycle that your particular business is working within. It's is not necessarily the knee-jerk reaction that we may do as business owners could be, if we're out of cash, we're just going to increase our sales. But we've got to be really careful with that, because when we've got poor cash flow, there's always an underlying issue that we need to work through. And if we maintain that current trajectory of just increasing cash flow, you're going to have something that represents that current profit trajectory where you're just going to be working harder, but not actually increasing the profitability of the business if there's an underlying cause there. But what you want to do with that clarity and vision of understanding of where it is that you want to head is you want to be able to utilise those tools such as a budget and a cash flow to unpack the numbers within your numbers and how they flow in and out of your business, so that you can identify what that underlying issue is. Is it maybe that gross profit percentage isn't at the right benchmark for you and your particular business and the industry you sit? Is it that you just aren't charging enough for your services out there? That you're trying to be competitive, but you're actually not doing yourself a favour at all in business? And so you want to make sure that you're on that trajectory that as you increase sales, you're also increasing that profitability of your business, because your business is there to serve you and is that vehicle to success, to achieve what it is that you want to in your personal goals. The next frustration that I think everyone experiences, whether you're in business or not, is that frustration of just not having enough time in the day to get those things done that you want to get done. I can't today tell you how to win, or how to get more time out of that day, but it's about managing the time and winning the time back for you, some little things that you can do. I find with myself personally that it's about doing the hard stuff. Identifying what the hard stuff is for you, and for me, the hard stuff is definitely marketing. So it's about identifying what are those hard things for you. What is it that you keep moving on the calendar and it comes to Friday and then you still haven't done that thing that you were going to do, and then it moves on to next Monday. Be conscious of those little things that you know that you do and become aware of them and then start managing them. I know for myself, it's that calendar and being able to identify it, and then I can see what I'm doing. But it's also having that accountability partner there with me. It's Clayton there knowing where my pain points are and what I find really hard, because I'm accountable to make sure that I get those things done, that we work together in supporting me, making sure that I can overcome my hurdles. So when, as a business owner, who's supporting you in order to identify what things that you find painful and to help you manage and be accountable towards doing those things. It can be as boring as governance. It could be that you need a new process or a new system that you need to implement. You need to do the hard work in implementation of that in order to win back time for the future. Knowing what is going to be best for you, finding out who you can lean on to get that information from. So I know that I utilise an online calendar really heavily. I'm not sure about you guys, but sometimes we're all pen and paper. But that's definitely a tool I use, and the biggest tool is obviously using Clayton, as having that accountability partner there for you, so that you do the hard stuff and you try and do the hard stuff first. So then the week is you've got clarity on what else you can do for the rest of that week. Okay, so hopefully I've identified 3 frustrations that may resonate with you and shared some different strategies around how you can look at it differently and make sure that you can, utilise some tools. And if you obviously need assistance, go out there and use your network to find out someone who can help you. Other things that we do at Business Edge Accountants is we do a lot of events and seminars and webinars. Obviously, we were doing webinars just before COVID hit, so it was luckily for us that we could then extend that, and that was really great. But make sure you tune in. There's so many different organisations out there, such as events like today. There is BDC that you can tap into. Yesterday's luncheon was fabulous with the Albury Wodonga business women. There's little things that you can do to empower yourself and build that knowledge gap for you as that business owner. So thank you very much, and hope you've got a takeaway from it. Cheers.
We've got some questions for Celeste.
More of an observation and a reality check. Thank you, Celeste, because being a sole trader, anybody who wants accountants and to get some good advice, it's someone who understands, you and Clayton understand business. That's a really relevant reality check and timely. Being a sole trader, you have to reinvent yourself every 12 months or so. And I haven't looked at my business plan for a number of years.
Yeah.
The information there is just so timely. I just want to say thank you, and I'm sure a lot of us have got a lot out of that, because I know I have made lots of notes. Thank you.
Other questions for Celeste while she's still in the room? Thank you, Celeste. That really resonated with me. I know if I didn't have that, the structure in the business planning, the accountability from the people around me, the ability to zoom out and really kind of look at everything as a whole, I don't think we would be able to achieve anywhere near as much as what we can, let alone me have the sanity or peace of mind that I actually have at the moment. So it really resonates. If you need any kind of support, guys, this is what we're all about. We want to connect you with either other members or other non-members or departments or agency business groups, businesses as well. So please use your chamber membership to find that help and find that support, because that's what this is all about. It's all about community. So moving on, we're very excited that we've got Peta Stewart with us this morning. Peta Stewart is also another very strong supporter of ours. Peter's going to talk to us about 7 ways to be a leader in the office, which I think is such a great follow-on from the 3 business pains or frustrations. So Peter, welcome to the speaking mat.
Thank you.
Hopefully the clicker will work for you. It must have a fingerprint.
It's fine.
I'll just put some intermission music on.
I can kind of start while they're doing that anyway. So I'm a member of Chamber and, sorry, a sponsor of Chamber. And as a sponsor of Chamber, they'll often share out my weekly blogs. And a couple of weeks ago, they reached out and said, you know, one of your blogs has gone quite viral. Can you come in and chat about it? And I said, yeah, sure. And then they said, for 15 minutes. I'm like, I never talk for 15 minutes. So I've got my phone because I'm going to try and keep it to 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I'll put that there while you're there. So, as I said, I do a lot of blogging as part of my business. It's just a way that I like to connect. And I like to do a lot about leadership. And there is an incredible amount of literature on leadership. Everybody knows about it. I haven't reinvented the wheel, but this blog, which was really quite short, went viral because it just had really simple, actionable steps that businesses can put in place. But first of all, I want to talk about, before we talk about leadership, which I said there is so much literature, especially for businesses, that can be quite overwhelming. I want to talk a little bit about what a leader is and what a manager is, because I think a lot of people get really confused about the two. So Carrick, you're going to be my volunteer. Come stand up here for me. I was going to have two people, then I realised there was COVID. So let's face this way. So Carrick's facing this way and I'm behind him, and this is my business trajectory, okay? So our flight path, if you like. And Carrick is the team and I'm the manager. So I am whipping him and pushing, no. I am creating systems and helping him with tools to be able to move the business forward, okay? So I am giving him direction. I am leaning on him. I am all of those things. That's what a manager does. A leader stands in front with no push and says, hey, do you believe in what I do? Follow me. Says, hey, if you have the right energy that I can create with you, this is where we're going to go. It provides guidance and it makes Carrick want to follow me. So that if you want to break it down, the difference between a manager, you're excused now, thank you, sir. If you want to break down the difference between a manager and a leader, that's what it is. Because a lot of people will say, I need leadership skills, or my leader's doing this. I'm like, that's actually supervision. That's actually just management. And so leadership is really about having your team invest in your vision and your why and want to follow you and having that energy that you need. And this blog was really about creating 7 super clear, easy steps to give you really good leadership skills. How's that?
You're leading the computer.
Recruit the right people. Too often, especially as small businesses, we recruit as a knee-jerk reaction to something. Oh, COVID hit, we just got really busy. Oh my God, I need to fill in that position, which is really making us recruit the wrong people. If you have the right systems in place, you can train anybody to do anything, but you can't change their personality, you can't change their values, you can't change if they're going to fit into your ecosystem. So you really need to recruit the person that fits your ecosystem and know that you can teach them the rest. Sometimes we try and fill that hole. It fills the hole in the short term, but then it creates more damage because you haven't brought in the right type of people that are going to connect with you. For me, my rule is 70%. If I believe that I have 70% enough work to put a new person on, that's when I put a new person on. I don't wait for 100%, because if I wait for 100%, I've exhausted all my other staff in the meantime, and I'm feeling pressured to recruit straight away and put on the wrong person. So really try and think about recruiting for qualities of people that you think will follow you, that not just going to fix that quick-term problem that you've got. So recruiting the right person is absolutely critical. They need to be part of your tribe. Okay. Make it a two-way street. Richard Branson is someone I love to quote in my keynotes, and he talks about how the best way to look after your customers is to look after your team, and it couldn't be any truer. The more you invest in your team and you're nurturing them and supporting them and making them feel wanted, the more they'll look after your business. The more that they'll treat your clients with the values that you install back through them. So really think about, it has to be a two-way street. Remember, if we're standing in front of our team and asking them to follow us, we need to be giving back to them. And it doesn't always need to be monetary. It's about understanding what their currency is, what makes them tick, giving that support back to them that way, and that's how they'll follow you. But you need to make it a two-way street, where when we're talking about a manager, that's very much a one-way street. That is, here is the processes and systems to make a well-oiled machine. With a leader, we're saying, hey, follow me, thank you for your support, this is how we're going to do it together. So really see the relationship as a leader is two ways. I don't know if I'm talking way too fast, but I'm just making sure that I get it all in my 15 minutes. Allow their skills to grow. Lucy Bloom yesterday said a really good thing at her speech. She said that she had an employee that said to her that she was terrible at computers, so she put a head of IT. And she said how excellent it worked, because she then was able to explain IT in such a simple way, because she was once that person that needed to understand it in a simple way. And it made me think about how I like telling people to allow their team to grow. Now, this, again, we sometimes have an unconscious bias, especially in small business, because we're like, I'll just do it myself quickly. They can't do it as good as me. Oh, they're really busy, I'm going to do this. And it's really about changing the mindset with your team to growing, to saying things like, if I do it for them, I'm putting a ceiling on their performance. If I don't challenge them and give them new things, they're going to be bored and not fulfilled. If I don't delegate work to them, I'm holding them back from their true potential without them even knowing. So it's very much around changing your mindset and allowing your team to keep growing their skills. And understanding that I employ an all-female team. So some of my women that work for me are career climbers, and they have clear trajectory paths that we've set out where they'll work their way through the business. But in saying that, probably half of them are working mums, and they have no intentions of going further with their business, but we still need to grow their skills so that they're feeling fulfilled every day. So we do that in different ways: personal development, communication, and other ways where they're still feeling like they're growing, but they can go home at 3 o'clock and pick up the kids. So understanding ways that you can allow people to grow. And as Lucy Bloom gave yesterday with the example with the lady who said she didn't have computer skills and she put them into IT, giving them challenges, but letting them know that they're supported. Hey, give this a go. It's only a trial. I've got your back. If it doesn't work, that's fine, but we're just going to see where it might end up for you. Whereas opposed to the manager saying, this is it, this is what you're doing. So definitely allowing skills to grow, but understanding that by you not delegating, you are holding your staff back. And I know if I ever have a moment where I think, oh, I should just do that myself, or that's going to be quite complex for them. If I change my mindset to realise that that negatively is going to affect that team member and that I'm holding them back, my mindset changes straight away about allowing myself to pass on that work. I think it's out of batteries, it's beeping. Get feedback and work with it. This sounds super simple, but it's kind of the first thing to go when people get really busy. So feedback needs to be honest and raw, and you need to allow yourself to be open to it, but also action it. And the best way to do that is just by really regular one-on-one meetings with your staff. So I like to actually do mine where each individual staff member, probably every 3 weeks, we go out for lunch, just me and that person. You take them out of the work environment and it's their chance to just talk. And it could be about anything. Sometimes it's about the kids and what time they get to work, whatever. But by them knowing that they have that one-on-one time with me, they know that they're going to have my attention, so that no matter what happens in that next 3 weeks, they're going to have that time where they're going to be heard. And it's not always that they're right. I'm not a yes person. They might come to me and say, this is how I'm feeling about this, I'm not happy about this. It's not that they're always right, but it is that they have the right to be heard and they have the right to be understood why they might be feeling that way. And then as a leader, it's my responsibility to help them understand what they could put in place to change how they're feeling or how we can do it. But giving that 360-degree feedback, you as a leader, it helps you and it helps them. So that's really important part of it as well. And it can be simple 4 questions that I like to do. What can I stop doing? What can I start doing? What can I do more of? What can I do less of? You give them those 4 questions and say, can you fill this out for me? What do you think I should do more of, less of, etc., etc. And some of the things that you get are you never would have thought. I never forget once they said stop drinking so much Diet Coke, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to stop drinking so much Diet Coke. But you actually create this conversation that brings up things that you never would have thought about before. So that's really crucial. Forget about the performance number and allow them to work. Now this can be really hard because we want to measure things tangibly. And so you want to have KPIs and all the rest of it. But if we go back up to the top, we've recruited the right person, we've allowed them to grow their skills. So why do you need to measure everything that they do? If you've recruited the right person, you shouldn't have to measure everything that you do because you trust them and it's a two-way street. You should allow them some flexibility to be able to do their job the way that they do it to the best of their performance. Of course, there's going to be some KPIs, but if you measure every single thing that they do or every 6 minutes needs to be documented, you're not giving them an opportunity to be able to excel and shine. It also kind of creates a level of distrust. It also can create competition in the office and takes away some of the good culture because everyone's competing against each other. So think about the performance number, take that away and allow them to bloom in their own individual way and see how that happens. But that can be a really hard one as a business owner because we want to measure everything, but understand how that would have made you feel as an employee, that you didn't have the ability to be able to grow and shine in your own way to get the same result. How am I going for time?
All good.
All right, 2 more. Practice what you preach. I had an old boss that used to say to me, do as I say, not as I do. And I don't know how that makes you feel, but that makes me feel pretty angry. And it made me feel really disrespected. And subconsciously, I think I resented him. Here I was trying to look up to someone as a mentor, and I wasn't supposed to, he would do different things than what he told me to do. It's really about if you want people to follow you, then you need to walk the walk. For my industry, that can be language that we use. It can be customer service skills. It can be the way that we greet each other in the office. Little things like if I'm taking a break because I'm exhausted mentally and I go out and chill for 10 minutes, showing them that that's okay to do that. This is what I do, so feel free to do that too. But really practice what you preach. If you want someone to believe in the way that you do things and why you do it, you need to walk the walk. And as I said, having that one boss that said that to me that time kind of stuck with me forever. You know, do as I do, as I say, and not as I do. That just makes my blood boil, to be honest. The last one, if you take anything at all away from today, it is that the #1 role of a leader is to create more leaders. So everyone that works for you, it is your responsibility to create more leaders for them and let them lead. If you change your mindset to being, how can I help this person create the skills to give leadership to the next person, it changes the way that you mentor them. You no longer just give them the answers, you'll answer questions with questions because you're making them challenge their own assumptions and learn the skills to be able to do the next steps themselves. Where a manager would say, this is how we're going to fix that. A leader would say, well, what do you think? What might be a better way? How about you give that a go? There's other ways that you can increase people to lead. One thing I love to do is do a roster and say, okay, this month it's your turn to teach me something new. And they'll go away and learn something. And it doesn't have to do anything to do with the business. Could be cooking, could be anything. But you're giving them skills to be able to lead and to be able to teach. And by letting them choose a topic that they're comfortable with, you're giving them an opportunity to lead in their own way. And in my office, we have a very flat level hierarchy, which means besides me, everybody else is on exactly the same level, regardless if they've been with me for 10 years or 1 year. And understanding that they are all still in a leadership role. that everyone else still feeds off them, that they still need to be responsible for everyone else, and that other people are still looking up to them. So the key takeaway, if anything, from today is your number one responsibility as a leader is to create other leaders. And that mindset will actually help you change the way that you speak to your employees and you train them and you teach them and mentor them, because you know that you are creating someone to follow the next lot of people through. So that's my 7. I think I got through it in 15 minutes.
You bang on.
Whoa!
Perfect.
I've never done that before. Usually I talk for like an hour on my keynote, so we got lots of quotes out of the way. So that's me. I do lots of blogs like this, lots of talks, lots of things like that. So if anyone wants to connect, jump on my socials. Aubrey Business Connect shares out my blogs maybe once or twice a month, so there's there. But anything at all, I'm always doing videos and tips and trips like this. Just follow along, and yeah, I always love to meet new people and say hi. And remember, choose someone today that you are going to create as the next leader. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Was there any questions for Peter while we've got her as well?
Questions.
No, that's good.
Where's photo of this one?
I know.
So I think it's pretty safe to say that with Celeste's presentation on those 3 key frustrations around running your business, and then Peter's presentation on these 7 points to being a good leader, I'm pretty sure you guys should all have no excuse. You should be able to run a really good business. So I think our job here is done. Thank you, Peter. That was really insightful. And I love the way that you can break things down into bite-sized chunks. And they're all so relevant, so important. And in terms of culture, which I think is what we all feed on, especially more in regional areas than maybe metropolitan areas, that culture is so important, not just in the greater community, but in the business community as well, within those individual businesses. So that answers to that absolutely. Well done. Before we wrap up quickly, I just want to congratulate businesswomen Aubrey Wodonga for such a great event yesterday. I'd also like to announce that the Aubrey Wodonga Business Awards are open as of today. So coming off the back of all of this motivation that we all now have, I'd love it if you could walk away today and just consider entering the Business Awards. We've come off the back of a pretty challenging and very different year. We've all been doing very different things to what we would normally do. And hopefully there's some really good examples of businesses that have grown and developed as a result of it. It's a great opportunity to get the recognition, but also to celebrate those wins that we've got here in the region, which compared to a lot of other regions, either in New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland even, we have weathered the storm really well. And I think there's some really good businesses and business operators here. So please, enter if you can. We would love to see you go through the journey, go through the process, because there's a lot of reflection that you can get out of it along the way as well, and a lot of mentoring too. In terms of stuff coming up, now the suspense I know has been killing you ever since Alice mentioned. Business After Hours is coming up on the 24th of March at the newly revamped Lavington Sports Ground. Please come along, because it's going to be your opportunity to get a really cool behind the scenes look at the place. Numbers will be somewhat capped, but we can fit a fair few in there, so make sure you register. And that is it from us. Thank you guys for coming this morning, and thank you to our 2 presenters. And we hope that you all have a great week and month ahead in business, and we'll see you back here again in April. So thank you.